Good morning, options traders. Steve Ganz here, and I wanted to share with you my RUT Butterfly trade in 3 different configurations. So as you'll see as we go through these, this is the original configuration that I put the butterfly on during and never changed it. So we're going to see it as it sat. And as you know by now, butterfly is really kind of my favorite trade, my go-to trade, and you're going to see the reason why as I look at these 3 examples. So this one again would have been as I put the trade on initially. Then this one is where I took this initial trade and I started to thin it out at opportune times and turned it into a no-lose trade. And then this one is the one that I'm actually going to close out today. So this one represents probably most closely how I normally trade a butterfly. So let's look at these 3 different variations. Let's actually start with this one. This is the butterfly as I originally put it on back on July 11th. And you can see that this only had a 22% chance of profit. And that's because this butterfly covers, while it covers a moderate range, the market could easily be outside of that range during the time of this butterfly. I mean, this thing was open for, let's see, July to August. So this was open over 2 months. And again, the market can move a fair amount during that 2-month period, which is why this chance of profit is so relatively low. Now, a lot of people look at that in a butterfly and say, oh, that's not a very good chance of profit. The key to a butterfly is knowing and being able to adjust it. So I don't put on a butterfly and then just leave it set. So let me show you example number 2. So this is that same butterfly that I put on, but when the RUT had pulled back into this general area here, the 2100, 2120 area, that's when I came in and I thinned out a bunch of these butterflies. I closed out a whole bunch of them. I had 10 of them open. I closed 8 of them. When I closed 8 of them, when we were in a nice position under this tent, I took a lot of the risk out of this trade. You'll note that now this is a 100% chance of profit. That's because I thinned it at a time when there was profitability in the trade, and I thinned it enough so that no matter what happens in the market at this point, market could go up 1,000 points, I'd be up $1,800. It could go down 1,000 points, I'm still up $1,800. Now, right now, it's up about 3,300, and it is still decaying. If I was in this configuration, since I am so far out of this tent, I would be closing this right now and going ahead and taking that higher number as opposed to waiting for a potential pullback into this tent. So that is the second variation where I didn't adjust my butterfly per se. I didn't change its configuration in any way. I just thinned it out at opportune times. Now, the way I actually tend to trade a butterfly is this is the original butterfly here, but when the market shot up so much in RUT a while back, I pulled off a couple of these call spreads, and 3 of them, and I rolled them much, much higher. RUT was trading up here at, let's see here, and the high was trading up here around 22.30 at the time I did that. So when RUT was trading up here at around 22.30 or so, I bought these back. Now, I would have bought those back at a loss. I need to be clear on that. But that really doesn't make a difference to me. It's all about adjusting my trade so that it can decay in a range that I expect it to be in. So while these call spreads certainly would have been at a little bit of a loss when the market was ripping up, my put spreads here would have been at a nice profit. But overall, this trade would have been getting pressured, and possibly this butterfly would have been at a loss at the time I made that adjustment. Again, we can go back and look at the prior video. I don't remember that specific off the top of my head. But I closed out 3 of these call spreads, and I rolled them up to a point here at 2,300 where I did not expect at that point that RUT would get higher than 2,300. It touched it here, but I didn't expect it to get higher than that. That was at least a recent all-time high, and I was expecting some pullback from there, which of course did happen, and then we were basically just in a very wide channel at this point. So now that this has decayed quite a bit more, I'm going to go ahead and close this trade out today. So this one will close out at around that $5,000–$6,000 profit range. There's really not much more that can be gained out of this. And I do still have downside risk if there were a big down move after the Fed meeting tomorrow. I would not expect a down move to be that significant. But again, there's no reason not to take this off. If I advance time forward, this thing expires at the end of this week. If I advance time forward, we can see that this actually drops down a little bit here as it decays to where I'd be up about $5,000 in the trade, where if I pull the plug on this here today, I'm a little over $6,000. Now, my only chance for significant additional profit is if we were to pull back in this tent right on expiration day. That's a lot to ask. I don't see that happening. So for those reasons, I would go ahead and close this trade out today, up around $6,000. I want you to also note right now this butterfly, after my adjustment, has an 87% chance of profit. So again, the key point here being that I do not look at a butterfly when I open it as having only a 24% chance of profit and thinking, oh, that's my chance of profit on this butterfly. No, the butterfly is just my starting point, and then knowing how to adjust it to the upside and the downside is what allows me to get into a position like this that then is hundreds of points wide. I mean, I could come all the way down here to around 2090 and all the way up to, what are we here, 2310. So that's a very wide range in the RUT. That's more than a 10% or so wide range that the RUT can chop back and forth, and I can still have profitability in this butterfly. So hopefully that makes sense to everyone. If you have any questions, comments, make sure you provide them to me down below. I do look at and respond to those. And always make sure you like and subscribe as well. Thank you so much, everyone. Take care.